The scene is familiar. Wine lovers surrounded by bottles of Pinots, Rieslings, and Cabernets, sniffing, swirling, tasting the newest arrivals at a high-end wine store. What may come as a surprise is the location.
It's changing, rapidly, actually.
Tell me people's reactions the first time they came into the store when you first opened it up, and they're used to either not being able to find wine in this neighborhood or, putting their credit card under some plexiglass, and then suddenly they get this.
I think it was the wow effect that we created such an aesthetically pleasing store, not just for Harlem, but a store I think can stand next to any store in Manhattan.
Harlem Vintage is located on the corner of 121st Street and Frederick Douglass Boulevard. Until 4 years ago, this space was a vacant lot. But where some saw nothing but empty cans and broken glass, J.J. Greenfield saw a business opportunity.
We saw the renovated brownstones, and we knew that if these people are spending money on these new homes and these new brownstones, they're going to want the services that they're accustomed to.
While 10 years ago, a brownstone in Harlem may have cost $500,000, today the same homes are selling for upwards of $1.6 million. Greenfield assumed residents paying those prices want to shop for wine in a sophisticated and inviting environment.
A lot of stores do have, extra security measures that, again, disallow the customer to browse and to hand select their wines. They're often given their bottles of wine or liquor through that plexiglass security.
Most of those stores don't offer much of a selection, focusing more on liquor than wine. Harlem Vintage takes the opposite approach. There are hundreds of wines, stone walls to evoke the feeling of wine country, wooden shelves, and candles. Greenfield wanted to create not just a store, but a place to hang out.
We've got the space to do a listening party for a new R&B artist coming out with an album. We've also, for good or for bad, we've actually hosted a memorial service because we are redefining the concept of, the wine store, the liquor store in an inner city neighborhood. We have the creativity and the latitude to do whatever we'd like to do.
As part of Greenfield's effort to attract new customers, Harlem Vintage hosts a wine tasting every Saturday.
The curators of the wine are knowledgeable, and they can explain at length where the wine comes from, what the grape is, who the producer is.
For Greenfield, opening a wine store was not the obvious choice.
It's JJ from Harlem Vintage. I just wanted to put in an order.
After earning business degrees from Wharton and Kellogg, she became a successful trader at one of Wall Street's most prestigious investment banks. A big job with a big paycheck and a big future. When she told her family that she wanted to give it all up to open a wine store, they thought she was crazy.
Who do you think you are? Bless your soul.
You must be out of your mind. Are you crazy? Have you lost your mind? But once I had gotten bit by the bug and I knew that this is what I wanted to do, I had the vision in my mind. It was a matter of conveying that vision to other people. There was no stopping me.
Her business vision was born out of a love for wine and a family history. Both sets of grandparents grew up in Harlem, and her father was born there. While she spent her childhood in Nashville, she was raised on stories of the Harlem Renaissance, of Ella Fitzgerald singing at the Apollo Theater. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Duke Ellington performing at the Cotton Club, and also on stories of the area's economic decline. It's a history she's tried to integrate into her store. Her business cards and posters feature a picture of her grandparents from the 40s.
Do you feel a responsibility to this neighborhood?
Absolutely. Not so much, in addition to feeling responsibility to the neighborhood, it's also feeling responsibility to the neighborhood's past. And I really want to emphasize the old days of Harlem, good and bad, because within that history, you definitely don't want to lose some of those things that make Harlem special.
When you walk around here, then, do you feel a part of the Harlem that your grandparents told you about?
A little bit. Now, here's something ironic. this site where our store is located used to be an impromptu baseball field where my dad played baseball.
Oh, wow.
So, so we want to make sure that there's an impromptu or real baseball field for the kids who live here now.
Greenfield's mindful that she's playing a role in what New York Mayor Bloomberg has called Harlem's next renaissance. By the time Greenfield opened her store, President Clinton had opened his office here, and NBA great Magic Johnson had built a movie theater down the street. All things that she says helped her know the neighborhood was ready for a high-end wine store. But investors still needed convincing.
We wanted to be able to point to the signs that weren't evident back then. So, for example, building permits for new construction, the lending rates for small businesses in the area.
So far, she's confident she made the right bet, but the challenges of helping to develop a new market remain. Greenfield says finding the support she needs to run her business takes some creativity.
It was easy initially to find a janitor to clean the store. You ask my grandmother, oh, we can borrow someone from the church. So we had to be a little bit more creative in finding the resources and the services to help support and grow the business.
She also depends on a group of women who have all started companies in the area. The informal Women's Alliance of Harlem meets once a month in a member's office or store. She says creating this community is the same thing Harlem business owners have always done.
Back then, businesses had no choice but to work together and to collaborate on different things, and that's exactly what we're doing now at Harlem Vintage.
A highly educated and experienced businesswoman at heart, Greenfield keeps an eye on the bottom line. The company was profitable for the first time last quarter, but that's not what she's most proud of.
Success for me is a customer who says, I love the wine, but I absolutely love the store and the service. And I want to keep coming back, and I want to tell my friends to come, and I want to tell my friends who live out of state to go online and buy wines from you guys. So it really is, for us, success is measured by our customers.